So these are the keywords for multiplication of product and times. Say for example, okay, 50% of Jane's shoes are black. So let's say S as Jane's shoes, so 50% of that, 50% of S, or we can just simply write this as 0.5 times S, or 0.5 S. Or another example, the product of two numbers is 30. So we'll let X and Y as our two numbers. So X, let's just use another letter, say A times B is equal to 30. So the product of two numbers is 30. That's how to write it mathematically. And then for division, okay, for division the keyword is per. Let's say for example, his car gets 12 miles per gallon. So you can write this as 12 miles per gallon. So those are some of the tips in solving word problems. You just have to analyze the sentence carefully and then write them into a mathematical equation. And then we have the distance formula. Okay, distance is equal to rate times time. Rate can also be the speed if we talk about speed. So distance equals rate times time. Okay, say for example, how far did the plane travel in 4 hours if it averaged 300 miles per hour? So for the distance here, we're given the rate 300 miles per hour times the time, which is 4 hours. So the hours here cancel out. Then we are left with miles, the unit for our distance. So this is just equivalent to 1,200 miles. Alright, then we have fractions. Okay, so we have proper fraction, improper, and then the mixed fraction or mixed number. So examples of proper fractions, the numerator is less than the denominator. So examples are 1/2, 8/13, 2/3. Improper fractions, the numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. Say for example 5/3, 11/11, 3/2. And then we have the mixed number. So mixed number composed of a whole number um, with a fraction written to the right of the whole number. Say for example 4 and 2/3, 3 and 1/2, and 24 and 3/4. So the mixed number is the value of the mixed number is more than 1. It is the sum of the whole number and the fraction. So in this case 4 and 2/3, this is the sum of 4 and 2/3. You should also review on how to reduce fractions. Say for example, okay, we're given here this fraction 8/24. So by looking at it, 8 and 24 are both divisible by 2 and 4. So we can further reduce this by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 4. So this would give us 2/6. But then 2/6 can also be further reduced because both 2 and 6 are divisible by 2. So we divide both the numerator and denominator by 2. So this would become 1/3. Therefore 8/24 can be reduced to 1/3, or is just equal to 1/3. And then you need to review on adding fractions. So there are two cases when we add fractions of the same denominators and fractions which have different denominators. Say for example of fractions with the same denominator, say 1/4 plus 3/4. So in this case, since the two fractions have the same denominators, we just have to add the numerator directly and then copy the denominator, which is 4. So this is just equal to 4/4 or equal to 1. But how about adding fractions with different denominators? Say for example 2/3 plus 4/5. So in this case you cannot add the numerators directly because they have different denominators. So all you have to do is get the LCD, which is the least common denominator, the smallest number that can divide both 3 and 5. Or you can just simply multiply 3 and 5. So the LCD here is 15. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. And then now we can add the numerators. So this is 22/15. Therefore 2/3 plus 4/5 is equal to 22/15. The same with subtracting fractions. Okay. Say 1/4 minus 3/4. Since they have the same denominator, so you can just simply subtract the numerators directly. So this is 1 minus 3 is equal to -2. So this is -2/4. You can further reduce this because 2 and 4 are divisible by 2. So we divide both the numerator and denominator by 2. So this is -1/2. Okay, how about this one? 2/3 minus 4/5. We get the LCD, which is 15. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Copy the operator sign minus. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So this is negative 2 over 15. And in multiplying and dividing fractions, say we multiply 1/2 times 3/4, then you can just simply multiply the numerators and denominators. So this is 1 times 3 over 2 times 4. So this is 3 over 8. And then in dividing fractions, say 1/2 divided by 3/4. All you have to do is flip the denominator or get the reciprocal of it. This would become 1/2, and then you change the operator sign from division to multiplication. 1/2 times 4 over 3, and then now you can perform the operation. You multiply the numerator and denominator. So 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, and you can further reduce this because both 4 and 6 are divisible by 2. So this is just 2/3. So 1/2 divided by 3/4 is equal to 2/3. Alright, and then we have decimals. So decimal is a special kind of fraction, and then we use decimals in our everyday lives. Let's say when it comes to money or dollars, then we also use decimals. Say for example, $10.5 or $10.05. Let's say we have $10.35 here. So the decimal point here separates $10 from 35 cents. So when we say 1/10, we can write this as 1 over 10 or 0.1. I would say 2/100. So we can write this as 2 over 100 or 0.02 or 3,000. We can write this as 3 over 1,000 or 0.003 or 4 10,000s. You can write it as 4 over 10,000 or 0.0004. Okay, have you noticed that the number of zeros we have here is also the number of decimal place we have? Like this, 1/10. So 10 has 1 0, so 1 decimal place. 100 has 2 zeros, 2 decimal places, and 3 zeros, 3 decimal places, and so on. Now, how do we write or change fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions? So change fractions to decimals. Okay, say for example, we're given 3/4. Okay, we're given here the fraction 3/4, and we need to change this to decimal. So how are we going to do this? We can use the long division. So that is 3 divided by 4. So 3 divided by 4 cannot be, because 3 is less than 4, so we can add 0 here. And then we have 30 now. 30 divided by 4. There are 7 4s in 30, so this is 7, and 7 times 4 is 28. We subtract, and we have 2 here. We can add one more 0. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20, minus, okay, 0 remainder. So that means 3/4 is equal to 0.75. So that's how to change or write fractions to decimals. But how about writing or changing decimals to fractions? Okay, let's say we're given an example here of a decimal 0.018. So how are we going to change this into fractions? So all I have to do is check on the number of decimal places here. So we have 1, 2, 3, right? So we can just write 18 as our numerator here, and then the 3 places to the right of the decimal means thousands. So this is thousands. So that means we divide 18 by 1000, and we can further reduce this because 18 and 1000 are both divisible by 2, and this is just equal to 9 over 500. We cannot further reduce this anymore because there are no there isn't any common factor anymore between 9 and 500. Now, how do we add and subtract decimals? We say, for example, we have 1.23 plus 57 plus 0.038. All we have to do is we line up all the numbers. So that will be 1.23 plus 57 plus 0.038. You can just add 0 here, since this is 3 decimal places, and we can add more zeros, and we add them. It would be 8, 6, 2, 8, 5. So that means this one is equal to 58.268. The same with subtraction. And you can subtract, say, 1.23 minus 0.038. So this is 1.23 minus 0.038. So we add 0 here. 0 minus 8 cannot be, so we borrow. So 10 minus 8 is 2, and then this is just 9, 1, 1. And that's just equal to 1.192. And for dividing decimals, I've already created a video which I just recently posted here, so you can check that video. Then we have percents. So when we say percent, it literally means out of 100. Let's say 10%, 17%, or 18%. So 18% is just equal to 18 over 100, or 0.18 of something. Right, changing decimals and fractions to percent. Say for example, we're given 1/4. Just have to multiply this one by 100%. So this is 100% over 4. So this is just equal to 25%. Therefore 1/4 is just equal to 25%. And changing decimal to percent, let's say we're given 0.25, you just have to multiply this by 100%. It's just equal to 25%. Say for example, in word problems that word problems on percent, say for example 12 is what percent of 40. So you can write this as 12 is okay, X percent of 40. So X percent of 40 is equal to 12. So you can just divide both sides by 40 and you can get the percentage. And then we have the averages or the mean. To calculate the average, you just have to add up the number of the items or whatever number is given, and then we divide by the number of items. Say for example, we're given 6, 10, and 20. What is the average of this? So there are 3 numbers here, 6, 10, and 20. So we just have to add up. Average is 6 plus 10 plus 20 over 3. So that is 36 over 3. That's just equal to 12. So that is the average of this given. Alright, let's go to geometry. You have to take notes on areas and perimeters of different shapes. So area of square, rectangle, triangle, and other shapes, area, perimeters. Here are some terms in geometry. They have angles. So an angle is formed when two rays is formed by two rays with a common endpoint called a vertex. Say 1 ray, 2 rays. Okay, so this is our vertex, and it forms an angle. So we have acute angle. This is, the measure is less than 90 degrees. And then we have obtuse, more than 90 degrees. And then we have right angle, which is equal to 90 degrees. And then straight angle, which is equal to 180 degrees. So this one is a straight angle. So this is 180. This one is a right angle. Okay. This one is obtuse. And then this one is acute. And then for circles, circles, okay, if this is our circle here, from the center to any point of the circle, okay, the distance from the center to any point of the circle, well, we call it as the radius. And the area of the circle is just pi times the square of the radius. And pi is just equal to 3.14. And then the circumference of the circle is just equal to 2 pi times the radius. Right. So circumference is the distance around a circle. Another term is the diameter. So diameter is twice the radius, so 2 times the radius. So from one point on the circle to any point on the circle, so that is the diameter. Okay. And then we have line. So this extends endlessly in both directions. The line looks like this. Let's say this is point A and point B. On the line, then we have parallel lines. That means they don't intersect. So this is line A and this is line B, and they are parallel. So two lines on the same plane that do not intersect. And then we have the perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around a figure, whatever a shape or figure you have: triangle, rectangle, square, circle. So this is just the sum of the length of all sides. And then we have perpendicular lines. Those lines that intersect. So that one. And then for rectangles, area is just equal to the length times the width, and then its perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, or you can write this as 2 times the length plus the width. And then for squares, the area is just equal to the square of the side, because the sides are just equal, and then the perimeter is just 4 times the side. And then for triangles, the area is just equal to 1/2 base times height. So this is the base, this is the height. We have a triangle here, and this is our height, this is our base. Then the perimeter is the sum of all of the sides, A plus B plus C. And then for the angles in a triangle, the sum of the 3 angles is equal to 180 degrees. Say this is our triangle, this is angle 1, angle 1, 2, 3. So the sum of the measure of angle 1, angle 2, angle 3 is just equal to 180 degrees. And then in algebra, don't forget the order of operations. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So in cases where only multiplication and division are left, or addition and subtraction, so you perform the operation from left to right. And then we have equations, writing mathematical, interpreting or translating mathematical sentences into mathematical equations, and solve the unknown. Say for example 2x equals 10, x plus 5 equals 8. Then you can solve x here by dividing both sides by 2, and here we can subtract 5 from both sides, so x is equal to 3. And then we have positive and negative numbers. Positive and negative numbers, so this is our number line. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So all of the numbers to the left of 0 are negative numbers, and to the right are positive numbers up to positive infinity, and then this one to negative infinity. And should also review on algebraic expressions. Say for example, you're given this problem for a plus 3b, and then you're given the value of a, and b is equal to negative 1. You just have to plug in the values of 4 times 2 plus 3 times negative 1, and then solve from there. 8 minus 3, 5. I think that's all to review on, and also sequences, number sequences. So just make sure when you solve problems, especially word problems, you have to analyze the problem very well, and then you translate them into mathematical equations. So don't forget the keywords in solving word problems in math. I'll just discuss the number sequences later.